So we're just gonna go ahead and just have a quick go over discussion on the ships as well as some of the new ships, and then we'll put our thoughts into them. Um, I'm hoping to at least do something sort of like a ship talk every now and then. Usually when there's like an event or a new ship come out. Um, a lot of us here are first year Star Citizen players, so it'll be nice to have that fresh um, you know perspective, as well as me. I've technically been very on and off for the last 6 years of Star Citizen. Only recently I came back. So yeah, if there's anything incorrect, I'm sure you guys can just leave it in the comments, and I will gladly just do some edits here. Let's go on. So IAE day 3, everybody. So as just to give you guys a quick heads up, so what IAE is that it is the biggest ship sale, ship expo of Star Citizen. What they do is they show off all the brand new ships. Um, they also have massive sales. It's a good time for anyone who's just been saving up. They've been playing for a while. Like, okay, I know exactly what I kind of want to do or want to buy. But again, guys, this game can be played just with the starter pack because eventually all these ships will be earnable in game. Of course, once the game comes out, a lot of these ships, the prices will definitely go up, or certain things you got to do. So, for example, some ships may need to be crafted. Some ships, their prices will jump from the 3 million to 9 million. So just be aware of that. Now, why do people buy ships? It's actually mainly just so that whatchamacallit, so that when the game starts out or they do a reset, they don't have to keep re-earning it. And some people just buy these ships to whatchamacallit, to support the game. And it's something that I do as well. I love this project. It's a great project. Frustrating sometimes, like every other game, but it's a work in progress.
Um, you know, it's nice to have these things. I mean, one of the nice things about purchasing the ship is that you have the ability to just have it indefinitely. And the way Star Citizen works, you can always rotate it around. You can say melt the purchase and then simply redirect the funds to a new thing. So, it's nice just to have it if you don't care to farm in game indefinitely. Um, Personally, I do think the prices are a little bit high, particularly
Yeah.
where mid and late game ships are involved.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you plan to play the game long term and you don't care to do the farming business, well, there is this.
Yep.
Just don't expect to have too many options if you're on a tight budget.
Yep. But again, this game can be played and honestly enjoyed with just your start package. So I do recommend that. And there is a giveaway for a starter package actually for all the followers on Twitch, as well as if you also use my referral code and sign up, and I see your name on the list of people that have used my referral code. That's another +1 little raffle ticket into the giveaway. And if we hit 100, I will upgrade the Mustang package or Pisces package to the Sealand package. It's an amazing deal. If anyone wants to get a nice starter ship with a lifetime insurance, and that's another thing too, extended insurance on all the sales as well. So we don't know the final what the final you know the plan for insurance now, because that's changed because of the scope of the game. But lifetime insurance means that no matter what, this ship will always be tied to your account, no matter how many times it's stolen, destroyed, and all that fun jazz. From what I understand. All right, let's go ahead and check out today's lineup. All right, Crusader. Now, the reason why we are doing Crusader is because, funny enough, Crusader is a brand that a lot of us enjoy in this group. So we'll go through them a little bit, and then we'll also talk a little bit about the Tumbrel Storm stuff. Tumbrel Storm is mostly land vehicles, and they just also released a nice, interesting addition to the game. So All right, let's go ahead and scroll down here. So, what's the new ship? The C1 Spirit. That has been finally released after a year and ish waiting for it. It's a very versatile ship. I have been flying it all IAE, where it's supposed to be the Cutlass and Freelancer competitor, and I'd say it is a very good addition to that like size category. We have Drake Cutlass, which is overgunned, under armored. We have Freelancer, all the bulk, but not so much in the flying department. And then with the C1 Spirit, flies like a gem, but definitely missing a couple things. Yep.
Well, missing a couple things is being a bit generous.
Yep.
Missile that is disappointing. Shields are barely there.
I'd say the shields are there.
Target profile is massive. If you are doing anything other than jousting in this thing, people are going to be able to hit a pretty wide target.
Oh yeah.
From the top or bottom.
Oh yeah, it's got a very big like cross section. So if you're, and also shields don't cover the top actually right now. Like shields only cover the front and the back. So if you get hit on the side or the top and bottom, just be prepared to feel it.
I will say that one positive thing about this is the maximum acceleration forward. Maximum acceleration forward is excellent, which is pretty characteristic for Crusader. I mean, when you think about it, 2/3 of the ship is basically made out of engines at this point. I'll just look at it.
That's classic Crusader.
But the flip side is, I have to say, although its forward acceleration is excellent, don't expect to be winning any turning fights. That's not what they do. And despite being a daily driver and ostensibly very comfortable to fly, I would not count on this thing in a fight.
Yeah.
You're better off with probably with a Cutlass.
Yep. There is one thing though. If it's not exactly a great thing in the fight, it is definitely a decent support platform for after fights or from the side, because utility-wise, it is not bad. 64 SCU, that's 2 large cargo, and unofficially you can throw a couple of unofficially you can throw a couple of pieces of cargo in the center of the bay as well. The tractor beam is powerful. It can grab pretty large chunks and move them safely in. And overall, very easy accessible in the rear as well, but not as open as the Cutlass Black. The Cutlass Black does have the doors on the side, which gives it a very nice like entryway. So overall, not a bad all-rounder, I say. So very comfortable to fly. To those who are interested in buying it, it is a bit pricey. Cutlass Black, just for comparison, is $110. Freelancer, I believe, is $110, I think, $115, and then C1 is $125. Although right now it is Warbond. Yeah, it is a decent all-rounder. You definitely get less guns, but it flies like a dream. Excuse me. All right. Moving on though. All right. Let's go over the rest of the let's go over the A1 really quick. So the A1, they fixed it. It can sort of fight, but it's still a very, very dedicated. Oh yeah, Robron. Yes, it does have multi-role capabilities. So the C1 does have your co-pilot can actually act as the tractor beam controller as well. So you can have that. A1. A1 is actually a very interesting ship. It is a bomber. It is a much easier accessible bomber, and we're going to get to that too, because the next bomber is very expensive. And it's something I would recommend just buy in game. Don't spend money on that bomber. On this ship, though, maybe if you have money to spare, and if you feel like taking out convoys is going to be your thing in the future, this is the ship. So the A1 is pretty much the same chassis. It's a little bit more bulkier on top because it is got a rail for the turret above and below. So instead of a tractor beam, it's got guns and 10 size 5 bombs, which honestly can still one-shot things. In the future though, right now it is just high explosive bombs. There will be new bombs coming up. There will be, we do know that there is incendiary bombs coming. That was on the track. I don't know what other bombs there will be. Alright. Frontal missile loadout is the same. Unfortunately, the only thing defending itself with is that turret. So yeah. Any thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I mean it's a mid-sized bomber. As far as things go, I'm not sure how good that forward-facing angle on the turret is. The chin turret is always under the control of the pilot, as far as I know. It's the same chin turret that is applied to the C1 cargo variant. With this thing, the protection is really not any better, save for the fact that you have an extra gun. You are, of course, sacrificing the cargo tractor beam, which would have taken the place of the turret on the upper rail mount. And it's supposed to be the battle variant of the Spirit series, but in truth, this thing is really just better off suited as a dedicated bomber. Yeah. Because you're not going to fight anything of equal size and expect to win. I expect two good pilots squaring off as, like, say, a Hornet and this thing. I expect the Hornet to win 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I do expect the C1 is more of a pickup, the A1 is more of a delivery.
Yeah, the B1 the A1, think of it as like the B1 Lancer in real life. You want shit done first. You want to, call this in, lay everything to waste, and then you can call anyone else you have, to do the mission. But
just drop your payload and leave. That's all this thing is supposed to be for. Because if you're sticking around to fight a prolonged fight against anything intended for space superiority or air superiority, something has gone terribly, terribly wrong.
Yeah, you got nuisance on the ground, just call that in and you'll say, what nuisance?
Yep.
Well, assuming you don't get knocked out of the sky by, I don't know, any number of missiles these days. Isn't Tumbrel making something very missile spammy for this particular IAE?
Yep, and we're about to move on to that now. Let's check out Tumbrel's new offerings here.
Actually, that'll be a ship that'll be very great paired up with the A1. That's coming soon.
Oh.
I don't know if we'll be talking about that ship.
Which one?
The Zeus.
Oh yeah, the Zeus is the Mark IIs. Yeah, we can definitely run back and talk about those in a bit. All right. Actually, no, we'll do that in a different episode.
Okay.
Because we already missed the Zeus was already said a SimCon thing, but we can do a big comparison of all the medium ships. So we can do everything from the Cutlass Black all the way up to. We can actually talk about the MSR as well. All right. Storm series. It is the new light tanks that got released, and honestly, they are fun. They are a lot of fun. And the new Storm missile anti-air variant. Yeah, when John Crew, the head of the vehicle design department, said that it's the largest amount of missiles we put onto one platform, he wasn't kidding. Yeah, 64 size 1 missiles, 8 per volley, and then 16 size 2 missiles, again 8 per volley. That is a lot of hate coming from the ground. Also, the Also, the size 3 gun on the gun version, the scout version, is also not too bad. You can definitely run around, do pew pew pew. Very good against infantry, laying down. And it's got infinite ammo because it is a laser, so you can just keep laying down fire. It's almost like an infantry fighting vehicle, just without the infantry. Now,
I do expect the air defense variant will be quite effective against small and medium ships. Even some heavy fighters, I imagine, is probably going to get into trouble. But don't expect to fend off any capital ships. There are more suitable picks for that purpose.
Yeah, if anything, I think it's mainly just to ward off drop ships as well as like fighter screens. So, I'd say that'll probably be the best use case for them. Now I did confirm you can dummy fire those missiles. So if there is something on the ground and you need to remove, and you have no way to remove them, well, you can try to just blast them.
Just don't expect too much. Dumbfire missiles don't exactly have the best explosive radius.
Nope, not at all. Yeah, now there's a couple things though. It is actually slightly wider than the Nova. And I have been trying to test this ship out. Yeah, the Tumbrel Storm regular barely fits into the Connie Phoenix. The Tumbrel AA does not. It just cannot fit. So it's back to larger ships. So the smallest ship I think I can fit these is the Corsair. And that's, you have to literally shove it in at a certain speed, with slight risk of breaking a few things.
I think you mean a slight risk of exploding.
Nah. Yep. Another thing too, the suspensions on the Tumbrel Storm don't seem to be working yet. So it is still a very stiff drive. So if you are going across rocky terrain like they advertised it, it's not ready yet. It can go fast, but once there's terrain, you gotta be careful still. Right now, ground combat is very limited still in this game. It's not been fleshed out. The only purpose of ground combat right now is to remove turrets, and also to act as like cover when doing like special like missions like Ghost Hollow and Jumptown. Yeah. But of course, going forward though, once we start entering places that like require us to have ground vehicles and the skies become too hazardous for flight, then yes, that's when ground combat is going to come take effect. Alrighty then. All right. Well, let's go ahead and check out the showcase for Crusader though. We can just go through these in order. Alright. Crusader Industries. They give a book? What?
Pretty cool.
What the? I did not know this was a thing! That is awesome!
Not a convention until you have a brochure, so here it is.
Alright. So we went over the A1. Alright, let's start with Mercury Star Runner. Yes. So Mercury Star Runner. It's a weird ship. A lot of people love it. But there are just so many things wrong with this ship right now. And so many things that it can be and it could be, but it's just not there.
Looking at you, literally all the hacking gameplay that isn't there yet.
Yep. So, transport, medium cargo, medium data. So, it is technically in the large medium category. So, it is on par with the Corsair, the Connies, and a lot of those other things.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. It is, strictly speaking, capable of carrying quite a bit of cargo, but again, this thing does not do combat well at all. In fact, I dare say its pilot weapons are even more anemic than its smaller cousins, like the C1 and A1.
Yeah, well, if anything, I'm just meant by the just overall like size, like that's the like the class of size. But yeah, you're right. Like the one thing that's got it going, and like every other Crusader ship, big freaking engines, go boo. So if you want a relatively large ship to get you from point A to point B and very very fast, there you go, Mercury Star Runner. It's meant to be like a smuggling ship. It's one of the few ships that has like this interior that you can go into the vents and hide. And yeah, it's one of them like overly like detailed ships on the interior. So yeah, the gun suite is not terrible. It's 2 size 3s for the pilot, and then each of the gunners on the turrets, total of 2 extra turrets, each have 2 more size 3s. So if you want a multi-crew ship and you want to have some fun in a Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, this will be the ship. But it can't take as many hits. Now, $260. There is a War Bond offer right now, so if you are upgrading, and that's another thing too, when you're upgrading, this will give you a discount, but you have to use real money. Alright. I believe the upgrade is... Let me see here. I forget exactly what the upgrade price is. I believe it's like $20 off, something around there. Alright, move on. M2. The slightly more heavier version of the Hercules.
Incoming transmission.
Oh boy.
Hey, Judge. Hello, hello. We are actually just quickly going over the IAE real fast of the Crusader variants. You want to join in on the discussion? What's up?
Sure. Sorry, I had to move some things around.
I gotta raise you a bit. Alright, so M2, heavy lifting and a few extra guns. Not much to be said here. Like the Hercules series pretty much is right now the premier dropship of heavy like equipment. So for tanks, vehicles, the Storm itself, gear, it's just the M2's just got that extra chin turret and a few additional guns here and there. No other things here?
Not really. It basically has an extra set of turrets. I mean, they're size 4 twin. They're size 4 twin mounts, so
Yeah,
I guess it's something.
Yep. And it's supposed to be more.
You will sacrifice a bit of cargo space for it. It's actually like 100 less or so compared to the regular C1, C2. But it's. I mean, if you want something a little more combat capable, it can. But it's just, it is still a dropship. You're supposed to just drop the things and leave.
Yeah, and well, actually, you're supposed to have some staying power. You're supposed to land and then just do cover fire. All right, moving on. This is the Genesis Starliner that's been stuck in concept forever. Whenever you guys want to be the Boeing pilot, there you go. Transport. Not really much said. This has definitely got a much different design from every other Crusader ship. If you do want to be that human transport of like commercial airliners as well as like bringing cargo, or if you like the look of the ship, then yeah, I would say if you want to buy it, I would say just get the CCU from whatever it comes from before. So one thing to do is to lock in the price. So when you upgrade, you want to go to all ships, see what's next to it. So right now it is the I would say I wouldn't recommend getting the Galaxy to the Genesis because we know the Galaxy is going to rise in price when the Galaxy comes out within a year or within 2 years or 3. So I would say just grab a upgrade from the Valkyrie to the Genesis and just hold on to it and keep the price, because once the Genesis starts entering production, we expect a price increase. All right.
When and if that happens.
Give it 4 years. All right, E1. Not much there. It is basically the private jet variant of the C1 and A1. We don't know too many specifics on it yet. What makes it different? Well, we know there's no bombs. It doesn't carry as much cargo, if any. It just has room up top in a pod for transporting 3 to 4 people. But the funny thing is, it has more combat capability than the C1 because it's not a tractor beam up there; it's an actual gun turret. So think of it as A1 without bombs. There you go, and a good view. All right, C2. It is just the M2 slightly slim brother. Not really. Carries a lot more cargo, less guns, less armor. But it's meant to be the delivery ship. Big delivery. So, not much to say about this one, right?
Yep, it's just the biggest internal space that you can have as far as the transport.
Yep. And yeah, $400 for a digital ship is a lot. So, guys, again, you don't have to spend too much more money on this game. Just unless you really, really want it, or really want to play the game, or you like certain people forgot they bought very expensive ships and then just rebought it again, some odd reason. Sure. Yeah, but every ship is earnable in game. Just get a bunch of friends and mates and work on grinding out that money. We already talked about C1. We'll skip that. All right. We're gonna pair these two together. Ares Inferno, Ares Ion. Where to begin with these two? What an adventure with these two.
Oh boy.
Yep. So a little bit of history. When they first came out, they were broken. They were a little bit too maneuverable for what they were carrying. It was like bringing a very, very big gun to a Nerf gunfight. They were deleting ships on sight, and then the devs double nerfed them and made them very, 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 very bad. And
that's a polite way to say worthless.
Yes, they reduced their maneuverability very, very much, and they also made it very difficult to aim the guns. Now, remember, these guys are not meant for dealing with fighters at all. They came in fight heavy fighters. Sort of. They're only meant to punch everything that's above them. So the Hercules we just went through, anything that's bigger than them, that is what Ares are supposed to do. Big ships, they aim for. Small ships, they have to run. Now they have sort of rebalanced them. They're now tolerable. They're relatively good ships. But for the price that you're paying, $250, you might as well just spend the extra $10 for a Mercury Star Runner and get a lot more fun out of it. Because Mercury Star has internals, it's got cargo, you can have friends to jump in, and honestly, you have a lot more fun. Whereas Ares Inferno, if you spent the $250, you are locked into that playstyle. Out of the two, though, I personally, I honestly think the Inferno is the better one. What do you guys think?
You know, I will say, ever since they buffed the chain gun, it's probably been a lot stronger. The Ion is nice in the sense that it still does tear through shields. If your buds are all building for laser weapons and they need something to knock shields down quickly, yeah, the Ion does that job quite well. But in terms of general combat, I mean, that gun holds 3 minutes of continuous fire for the Inferno, and that is a lot of damage that happens over the next 3 minutes. And it's ballistic. You don't need to dedicate weapons power to it. You just hold the trigger and spray lead until they die.
Yeah.
I will say that don't expect it to be as good as the is the smaller guns in terms of weapon velocity. It's still 700 meters a second. It's every bit as slow as the laser cannon on its cousin, as far as bullet speed, but it does a lot of damage. It does an exceedingly large amount of damage, and if you're pointing it at a capital ship, like if you fight an 890 jump, for example, you may burn through a very large portion of your ammo, but you will kill it.
Yeah. Any thoughts from the other two?
I currently don't. I haven't spent time around this.
Gotcha.
The Ion is a sniper. It's a laser sniper. That's what it does. You hurl bolts of death from a distance, and you pray that no one gets close. The flip side is that anyone stupid enough to actually eat said rounds is going to be regretting it in very short order. And if they happen to be small and they took the damage, you can see people die in as little as 2 to 3 shots.
Yep.
Assuming, of course, that they're in the habit of flying in straight lines.
Yep. I'd say we'll start to respect these ships when capital to capital like gameplay becomes a thing, because we'll definitely need to call on somebody with anti-capital ship like capabilities to basically just put pressure on the enemy capital ship, and also, you know, to drag fighters off of our own. So, yeah. All right then.
One other thing. Despite despite that description there saying that they're capital ship killers, that's a bit of a misnomer. To be perfectly clear, you should, if you're trying to fight something that's very large, ideally you have at least a couple of these things. I consider them more in the realm of almost like a heavy bomber of sorts, rather than like a medium or heavy bomber against ships, rather than any proper sort of, rather than being proper fighters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
capital ship killer. I have a different ship in mind to do that than I would with these two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can definitely go over those. Yeah, the one thing I would say though, like I believe there was a lore story, but like these things flew in small attack groups, so it's usually not one air inferno, it's usually like several. All right, moving on. A2. It's M2 with Moabs. That is it. It's also less storage capacity and overpriced up the wazoo. $750 is a Polaris. Not worth it. Actually, I wouldn't even unless you're, unless you are very attached to the Hercules and you want to drop Moabs. Honestly, just earn it in game. It's very cheap in game. I
don't know what you're trying to hit that needs bombs of this size, but yes. I assume this isn't something that happens too often.
No, it's usually during events. Now, there are bombing missions in Pyro coming up, and they will be translated over to Stanton as well. But again, those are just one type of mission. Like, there's no other reason to do it. And also, I've heard from what people said, you don't even need to get a bomber to blow those, structures up. You just get a regular ship and just lay down fire, and they'll eventually go down. Yeah, so that's why right now I think the A1, if you really, really want a bomber, the A1 is perfect. You can do it with one person, and you have a second person running turret. And there's a little bit of space in the back for some vehicles. So, for small vehicles. So, I'd say if you really, really want to do bombing, want to own a bomber, the A1 is where you want to go. All right, well.
Yeah. Sorry, can you go back?
Yeah, go ahead.
The A2, I'm gonna go back to real life comparisons with this. The A2 is just like the B-52 bomber that we have in the United States. It's got a lot of big bombs that it can carry, but it's slow. It'll have bigger profile, easier to shoot down. So
I can a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be easier to be shot at because bigger profile and all that stuff. So you want to be careful of where you're at, especially if you're in cryo. The A1, it's like what I said before. It's the B1 Lancer. You got a smaller profile. You got it's a smaller payload, but there's a lot of it, so it makes up for it. So it's better to have the A1 right now because it's smaller profile. It's sleeker. It's hard to get shot at. You can easily maneuver compared to the A2. Just go for the A1 right now, especially with the price.
Yeah. Right now, though, during IAE, the A1 and the Mercury Star Runner do have money off. So the A1 is, I believe, $30 off, down to $170. And you can usually just upgrade to that if you wish. Mercury Star Runner, I believe they are. If page will load. Mercury Star Runner is $20 off. Wait, what? Really? How much do they want to? That's weird. The A1 gets more off, costs less than the Mercury Star Runner. Interesting. All right. Tumbrel. This will be quick and short, actually. Tumbrel is all ground vehicles. We're just gonna put all the Cyclones in one basket. It's a 4-wheel with different variants meant for different roles. If you guys enjoy the Warthog from Halo, congratulations. This is the equivalent.
You'll be fully immersed in it now.
Yes. Yeah. It honestly, there's not much to say. They're just multi-terrain vehicles. All right, and somehow, yeah, Tumbrel decided, oh, he has a racing one too. We call it the RC. All right.
Fitting.
Nova Tank. The only battle tank right now in the game. Oh, and another thing too. Do not buy any ground vehicles with real money. They are very, very cheap in game. They are way overpriced for what they are. But again, not going to stop you. If you really, really just want to own a digital tank, here you go.
Or show support to those people who made it.
Yeah. The Nova Tank is a lot of fun though. And they are improving like handling, vehicular combat. The Nova Tank has so much stuff. Massive cannons, anti-air missiles, extra guns. It's scary to deal with. Alright. The Rangers. They are not out yet. But I really, really want them.
Damn, do they look nice.
Like, look at this. This is Batman. Bat bike. Like, I want these. And these have been like revealed so long ago. I mean, I expect them to release them once they're done with vehicle, like the new vehicle handling, but we still haven't heard a single word on it. So, hey, yeah. Like, honestly, like, oh, I didn't realize you can put stuff on these, on the messenger one. And this just has guns. Alright, moving on. We already went over the storms. These are the light tanks. There has been people testing these on streams. The Storm has a very hard time fighting the Nova. The Nova can easily knock out one or more components in one shot, leaving the Storm extremely vulnerable. However, a very, very like skilled Storm pilot driver can still probably take on the Nova. Just don't win on a head-on fight. That's not your role. Alright, that's it. That's it for now. And that is day 3. And if anyone, and then like we will, I will return back to the other manufacturers, probably after Thanksgiving, and we can go over them all, okay? Cool. Alrighty then. Shall we play some Star Citizen?
Yeah.